morning, everybody. It's Sunday morning. It's pretty quiet here at the moment, although I can hear people stirring. I had a dinner last night. We made a homemade Chinese meal, tried recipes I've never tried before, and they turned out good. Except for the overabundance of ginger I accidentally dumped into the filling for the egg rolls, but it all went well. So I have a loaf of sourdough bread that has been in the fridge overnight proofing. So that has to be baked. So I thought, well, I'll get up, I'll turn the oven on. You have to preheat the cast iron pans for, like, they say an hour, but I usually do about 30 minutes. You actually put it in the oven while the oven's cold, turn the oven on to whatever temperature you're trying to get to, and leave it in there. And then once it comes to temperature, I usually leave it about 30 minutes. So I had to do that, and then I thought, well, I might as well clean up. I mean, we did sort of a basic cleanup after supper last night, but honestly, after dinner is done and I'm done cooking, I'm done. So I don't do a thorough job at night. Glenn does help, but you know, he doesn't do it like I do. So anyway, I thought, while I'm letting the oven heat up in the pot, I would wipe everything down, get everything organized, and have a coffee with you. So today's kind of going to be a busy day. I've invited my son and his girlfriend for supper. They're coming here to help do some of the cleanup and stuff outside because tomorrow is a bigger day. The real estate agent, the photographer that she uses, is coming tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock to do the photographs for our listing, and then the listing should be live tomorrow night or Tuesday. So that's exciting. It also means that I have to go through everything today and make sure, like, I've been trying to keep it up, but you know, we do live here, things get pulled out, don't get put away. Plus there's the extra things on my counters that I'm going to try to shove into cupboards and stuff so that it's more, you know, empty on the counters, just more open, more not as distracting. So that has to get done, and just, you know, wiping things down again. I was gonna do the floors. I will do the floors upstairs today, but downstairs, I mean, I might sweep, but I will sweep. I do sweep, just so you know. But with having people here for supper and then working outside and coming in, you know, leaves get tracked in, everything gets tracked in. So that's probably one thing I'm gonna have to redo tomorrow morning before she comes. I feel like there's a lot of things I have to do before she comes, and yet it's probably bigger in my head than it actually is in reality, because I am feeling quite a bit of anxiety. If it was just Glenn and I here, you know, that's one thing. I can keep on top of things, and the kids do help. It's just when there's more people, there's more mess, there's more things. And the photographer is one thing, but for showings, I think that's where I'm really feeling the anxiety. It's a big deal. It's a big deal. And yet I know I worry too much because I've seen listings and I've seen the pictures that get posted on those listings, and I think I'm golden. Like, we got this. However, you know, I do want to put our best foot forward. I want to have it looking as good as it can look. And I want it to be welcoming when people come in to look. Oh, geez. I don't know why I'm getting emotional. I get emotional over everything. I just want it to be inviting, and anyway, that means I have to do work. So we'll see how it goes. I mean, I also have to keep telling myself, and I did tell my real estate agent, like, don't expect perfection, because it is what it is here. Like, we actually live here and do a lot of living here. And this is where we spend all of our time. I can't even remember the last time that there would have been a delivery coming to this house, that there wasn't somebody home. So, yeah, there's always somebody here. There's always stuff going on. And, you know, it's not just the people that live here. We have friends, we have family, we have other people here all the time. So it is a bit of a pressure on me right now. And everybody helps as much as they can. But, you know, I think as a woman, a wife, we really feel like it all rests on our shoulders. And in reality, it kind of does. At the end, the buck stops with us. So, and there's a lot of things I can't do, but I'll delegate. Supervise. I'm good at supervising. They all love that. Anyway, I'm going to go and I'm going to get my bread out and see you over at the counter. So I also want to say that one of the advantages of having so many people here and having someone here all the time is I get those emails that, you know, say, oh, we tried to deliver your package, but there was no one there to accept delivery. I know it's a scam then. That is a dead giveaway here. Okay, so I've taken my bread out of the fridge. It's in my Banneton. And I press down, because if it still has a bit of spring in it, which it does, then I know I haven't overproofed the bread. Doesn't look like it's risen much, but as long as there is good activity still available in this bread, it will rise in the oven. So I take my parchment paper, put it over the bowl, and just flip it onto the paper and onto the counter. And then the next job is to score it. I have rice flour that I make and put in the Banneton to keep it from sticking. And rice flour works really well because it doesn't absorb into the dough. Where if I just put regular flour, you do run the risk of it being absorbed into the dough and ending up with... What good is that lock if it doesn't freaking lock? So this is called a lamb. It's spelled lame, but it's called a lamb. And it has a blade in between these two wooden discs that you unscrew till the blade comes. Oh, now it's out. So while I have it apart, this is the blade. It's just like the old razor blades that my dad used to use to shave in his two-part razor thing that you had to put it on just like this, and then there was a piece of metal that tightened over the top to hold it in place, and I used to sit and watch him shave all the time. Trick is, do not cut yourself because they're sharp. So I'm going to, the cut is supposed to be on an angle, about a 30-degree angle, and I just pull it down and slice through about 1/2 inch. I'm getting better at this. This is not as easy as it looks. I'm just telling you. The artists in sourdough can make all kinds of wonderful designs. Like true artists, I'm not kidding. You want to go about halfway down the edge of the loaf to start, so that it opens up nice and big. And the reason this is important, this isn't just for decoration. It's when the bread is expanding in the oven, it can have blowout. So I could get a huge blowout on the sides. So this lets it know where it needs to expand from. So I'm going to get my pot. in the oven. And it is hot. So be careful. Take my word for it. Like, I have burns. I don't know if you can see that. So I just take it by the corners of the parchment, put it in the pot, and quickly put it back in the oven. The temperature is to be 475. Now, this is something I do differently than the recipe. I'm going to turn it off, set it back to 475 to get it right up to temperature. And then I'm going to turn it off for 30 minutes. Leave it in there, turn it off. And then at the end of 30 minutes, I put it back on for 15 to 20. That's when I start checking it. After about 15 minutes, you use less hydro. And I have found it seems to rise more. So I will be back when I check it or when it's done, and I'll show you how much it's risen. Okay, so my bread has been in. Got dressed, see? I do get dressed. It's been in for about 15 minutes since the oven turned back on. Because if you remember, I turn it off for the first half hour after I get it back up to temperature when I put the loaf of bread in. So let's see. Not bad. I do use a digital thermometer just to check temperature. It should be over 200. Yeah, we're 208. So we're good. So actually, I can't use my gloves for this. This is how I get burnt. But I just grab the parchment, lift the bread out, and there we go. So see how it's opened up? So all four corners should be like this. I don't know if you can see. Quite defined. And some aren't. So I don't know what the deal is. I just keep trying. I got it perfect once. No idea how I did it. So this is done. And you can see it has risen quite a bit. It's kind of gnarly on the top. Oops. But that will not affect the flavor. In fact, I like the crusty little bits. But here we go, guys.